Welcome back. So I've been making these mushroom themed Benjamin pockets recently. In this video I'm going to show you how to make them. We're going to make 3 different sizes. I'm using a 4mm yarn hook, and sorry, I can never say what kind of yarn I have because I usually just get it for free and or like pick it up at thrift stores and stuff like that, so there's no labels on it, but it looks like this. I'm going to start with a magic circle. Ooh. Twisting it, and I kind of shake it a little bit so this is loose because I need to grab that one and pull this through. Alright, the different sizes we're going to make depend on 2 different things. The first thing is how many stitches we put into this magic circle right here, right now. And the second thing is how many rows we do, which we'll talk about that later. So I'm going to grab my working end. This little tail end is going to be worked in with this circle. But first I like to just pull it a little bit so that this ring fits, you know, decently tight around my 2 fingers. I feel like I have a little bit more control when working with it like this. To do one that fits the Stizzy brand, we'll do that first. I need to do 9 half double crochets into here. So let me show you how to do a half double. I'm going to hook, come through, hook again, pull it through, and I've got 3 loops on my yarn. I'm gonna hook and pull it through all 3. That's 1 half double crochet. We're gonna do 2, let's do 3, 4. I'm gonna hook, stick it through my circle, hook it, pull it through all 3. I can pull this as I'm working if this loosens a bit. 1, 2, 3, 4 we've done. Let's do 5. 6, 7, 8, and 9. And you can count those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Basically every little V is a stitch. With 9 of those there, I'm going to grab my little tail here that I have, pinch here, and pull tight. Then we're just going to connect this circle to make a nice little round, right? So in that first stitch, that first little V there, we're going to do a slip stitch. I'm going to stick it through that first stitch there. Grab my yarn and pull it through one, and then pull it through the other. So this is the bottom of the little tube. Now we're going to start building the walls up and around. I'm going to chain 1 to begin with. Do not forget to chain 1 in between each row. I keep forgetting and I have to keep frogging it, and it's really annoying me. Chain 1 in between each row. Now to do this, we're going to do half double crochets into each stitch. But for this first row, we're only going to pick up the front or back, whatever you want to call it, of the stitch. So you see how the stitch is 2? We're only going to pick up 1 of those. I'm going to pick up the back. So I'm going to wrap, come through just the back of that first stitch, and then just My shit's kind of tight. There you go. And then just complete your half double like before. That's one. We're gonna go around the whole thing. So we're gonna do 9 of these again, only picking up that back. 2, 3, 4. Nope, I grabbed something wrong there. Hold on. There we go. This is like the hardest row to do right here. 6. This is the easier one though, admittedly. The thinner one is even harder to do because you start with less. Continue all the way around. I keep picking up things wrong. This is hard to, I'm telling you, this is hard to do the first row. It's very annoying. Okay, let me count and see how many I got here because I confused myself a bit. So we're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I'm going to make this last one. To make the last stitch, I'm going to connect these 2 circles. So I'm going to go through both of these loops on that first stitch and do a slip stitch. That completes the first row of the walls. We want 10 rows. So I'm going to chain in between each row and then continue working around with those double stitches. However, this time we're going to go into both loops of the stitch, not just one. And we're going to continue going into both loops of the stitch the entire rest of the way. So I'm going to loop, go through both of those. Well, let me get that out of the way so you can see. This is like those jokes on TikTok about, oh, I could almost see what stitch you were doing in your tutorial. So see, I'm going through both of those. Gonna hook it and finish my half double. There's 1, we're doing 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can see it kind of wants to roll in under itself, so I'm sort of having to like unroll it so that I could get to the stitch properly. 8. And I'm gonna make that number 9. Oh, no, just by slip stitching into here. That's row 2. I'm going to do one more row here with you on camera, so I'm going to chain in between every row. One. Shake things, I find, if it's a little tight to get through. Oh no. Okay, didn't do that one. Where's my stitch at? Okay. 1. 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, and then I'm going to make 9 by slip stitching into there. So you can see how like the walls are starting to build up. I'm gonna chain again. I'm gonna say that one more time in between every single row, and then just continue on around. I definitely keep counting. I don't know if I'm just slow or what, but I constantly lose count of how many I have, so I have to keep going back and making sure. See, I think I accidentally did too many on this row. I was getting the feeling because it seems like it's going wider, which, here, let me show you this one. Like you can see this one. I actually like the design of it. See how it's like a bit wider and then gets thinner? You know what I mean? That's because I technically messed up on this. At some point I started doing 10 or 11 stitches and then went back to 9 and 8. And then, so as long as you're like staying wide enough for the pen to fit, you can like mess up a little bit. And I actually think it makes it look a little bit cuter. Because I don't know, it just makes it look like more like a natural mushroom would instead of stick straight, right? But just stay like somewhere like 7 to 11. Ideally you stay at 9. But as every crocheter apparently learns, I can't count. So, you know, 7 to 9 I'm learning, you know, kind of works. Or 7 to 11 stitches around, you'll still fit the scissy pen pretty well. But now that I've noticed that I'm a little bit wide, I'm gonna skip that first one and go into the second one and just do 9 full around. So I just skipped a stitch in one of the stitches in the last row to get back to 9, and then I'm just gonna continue on chaining 1 in between each row, and I'm gonna do, like I said, 10 rows. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I need 3 more rows. Once we've got the body that we need, the little stem, we're gonna make the like necklace part of it. So here, we just finished that last row. I'm going to just chain. Ten. And honestly, at this point, I don't even know how many I chain. I usually just chain as long as this first one that I made is because I liked the length of it. So let me actually count how many of these chains that I'm doing here, and I'll report right back to you. Okay, I ended up chaining 130 chains. I'm going to cut here, pull this through, and tighten. That's our stem. We're just going to leave that for the minute while we make the little top. For the top, we're going to do that same magic circle to begin with. I'm working in a red yarn to do like a classic red and white, but I've seen pink mushrooms that are really cute, or I feel like a black mushroom would be kind of cool. Oh, I literally did that wrong. So I was chatting instead of paying attention. So I've just wrapped it around my fingers. I'm going to grab that back one, twist it, loosen it a little bit. Grab that and loosen it some more. Why can't I get this through? There we go. Gotcha. I'm going to do 6 half double crochets into this one. Same thing, I've got my working end. I'm gonna put my little tail in with this. Wrap through, grab it, pull it through. You've got those 3. Pull it through. Dude, this yarn is not doing it for me. Why am I struggling so much? All right, 1. Let me try to do it looser. Maybe I'm just doing things too tight. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you can go back and count those. 3, 4, 5, 6. Same thing, I'm going to grab here, pull my little tail untwisted, and then pull it through. Get my tail out of the way so that I can slip stitch into this very first stitch to finish up my little circle here. From this point, I'm going to chain 1. Again, you're still remembering to chain 1 in between each row that you do. Here, you've got 6 stitches. We need to turn this into 12. So I'm going to do 2 stitches into each existing stitch. And we're going to just continue to work with that half double. So 1 into that first one. I am really struggling with this yarn for some reason. And 2 into that first one. Going into the second stitch, doing 2 in there, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. We'll do 11 and 12, and then slip stitch into that first one to complete that round. Now we have 12 stitches on top. I'm going to chain 1 between every single row. For this next round, we need to end with 18 stitches, which means I'm going to do 2 stitches into the first one, then 1 stitch, then 2 stitches, then 1 stitch, then 2 stitches, and continue that all the way around. So we already did our chain 1. I'm going to do 2, into this first one, and I'm going to do 1 into the next. 3, I'm going to do 4 and 5, and then 6, 7 and 8, and 9, 10 and 11, then 12, 13 and 14, then 15. I think I skipped a stitch along the way, dude. Anyways, we're just gonna go right back into that same one. 16, and then in the last one we're gonna do 17 and 18 before slip stitching to finish off our circle. That was row 3. We're going to need 5 rows in total. Both of the next 2 rows are going to have 18 as well. So I'm just going to go back around this 2 more times. Chaining in between. And And then I'm just going to go one into every single stitch and go around twice. And then I'll see you back here. 18. Slip stitch to finish it off. Okay, now we're going to need some little dots on top of here to really give it that mushroom design, right? So I'm bringing back some of the white that I used to make the stem. And I also have my little crochet needle here. I like to pinch this over, make it easy to slide through here. And then let me see which side is the outside, like which just looks more like an outside to me. I like it like this. So this is going to be the inside. I'm going to go from the inside. Don't pull it all the way through. Leave a little tail here. And then I'm just going to sort of somewhat randomly, now I'm going to circle around and upwards. So it's not actually random where I'm putting these little dots, but it's going to kind of make it seem like it. So see how I put like one this way? So maybe now I put one this way, and then I put one straight, and then I put one sideways, and then I'll go around the bottom before spiraling up, basically. Don't pull it really tight when you pull it through. You know what I mean? Like you want to keep it a bit loose so you can really see the dot. But make sure that you're not like leaving it loose in here. You know what I mean? Let's do one. I'm trying to keep my little tails out of the way here too. Do one right there. Let's do one sideways. Make them like maybe different sizes, so this one's like longer than, you know, just try to make them as sporadic looking as possible. Let's do one like in a diagonal. Oop. Hold on, I'm not pulling tight enough. You see how this got loose, but like I'm gonna pull these tighter rather than pulling this one longer, because I don't want to run out of yarn by the time I circle up to the top. So let me just sort of whoop, 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 whoop. Just like that. There we go. And then I can keep going. So we do a couple up and down. Let's do a sideways. Whoop. And then now that I'm making my way back to where I started, I'm going to start going up. These tails are very annoying. I'm gonna flip that inside out. Now, you can see my working end got really short here. Had I started with this, like, you know, maybe an inch or two longer, that would have been ideal, but it's fine. Now we're just kind of gonna sew everything in together. So, in fact, usually I tie the white, I bring the white all the way back around to the white, and I tie the red to the red. But because these two are closer together and these two are closer together, I feel like that's gonna be the move. So these two can literally just get tied off right here. These two are a little too far apart. So I'm gonna bring the red to the white. I'm gonna sew this through. I'm only picking up the backs of stitches. So in other words, like, you don't see it on the inside. You know what I mean? Although in this case it doesn't matter because it's the same color yarn, but still. And then without pulling this one too tightly because I don't want to mess up my things. But like I said, I should have left this a little longer for me, but it's fine. We had just enough. Yarn chicken is a thing. Okay, struggling a bit, but we're gonna get there. Hold on, bear with me. Close enough. All right. Now I need to sew these ends in. This one I'm gonna have to do again a little bit differently because she's so short. So I'm gonna just go through the backs of stitches here. Pull the needle through, and then I can stick this in. See how, like, this isn't long enough to stay in here if I pull the needle back far enough to stick it in. So I stick it in first, and then you can pull this through. And just cut off the excess there. And again here, especially with this white color, I'm careful to only go through the backs of stitches so that you're not going to see what I'm doing right now from the front, because I don't want to mess up the design of the dots, you know what I mean? And just have like this white line that goes across the front or anything. And then I'm going to come back in the opposite direction just to try to give it some security. I'm going to do the same with the red, and I'll be back. And then I'm going to turn it right side out. And we've got our cute little mushroom top. Let's bring back the stem and connect these two. Okay. I want to go, you know, up through the bottom and then back down through the top. And like center them so that, you know, when it hangs like, you know, the top of the mushroom at the top. Up through here and then back down the other side. Oh, I didn't mean to take that off of there. Hold on. Put that back on, because then we're going to tie this little part on the opposite side of this guy. I pull the chain through like 1 or 2 loops, just because by the time I get it tied, this part doesn't like hang up right here, you know? Tie that really, really well, because that's holding the whole thing together. And then I'm going to just sew in these 2 loose ends. They always turn out better when I'm not filming. I think that's because I could literally just focus and count properly. You'll see that this top is a lot bigger than this one though. When I was working with this other color of yarn, this red one, this yarn's a lot thicker. So this was turning out bigger than this one. So what I did to make this larger was I just, I did 8 stitches into that first magic circle, doubled that to 16, did the single double up to 24, and then just did the last 2 rows with 24. And as for the 3 different sizes, so for the caps, as I explained already, it's the thickness of the yarn that matters. Either I start with 6 or 8. For the stems though, here I have listed the number of stitches. This is the number of half double crochets that I put into the magic circle. And then I also have the number of rows listed as well. And then here I'll throw up some visual representation of what size batteries goes in which of these 3 size Benjamin pockets.